Hi, my name is Chase Dudley, and you are listening to the movie Rain.
It's time for the movie Rain. Tonight's victim is director Chase Dudley that has done many movies such as Beasts of the Field, amongst others. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
What have we been up to lately, or is this your current baby right now that we're getting out there?
Well, I got a few projects in the works, but mainly we are discussing Beasts of the Field, which is a film that I shot in 2018. We shot in the middle of a hurricane. It was unexpected that we even got, that kind of storm. I got word a week before the shoot that Amber was going to head to Kentucky early because there was a Category 3 hurricane headed her way in North Carolina. So we did a charity and raised a GoFundMe to accommodate her a week early because, of course, we didn't have that in our budget to film to pay for our hotel week in advance. But, Amber's very, very dedicated. She brought her family up and her husband and her kids, got to meet her kids, and did not get to meet her husband. But we got some much-needed studying early, and the crazy thing is with the storm, Keith Nicholson, which is an actor that I worked with numerous times, he's a talented gentleman, he made me a rainmaker machine because it was a fight scene that I was going to shoot later in the film. I was going to have it rain for that scene. Mother Nature has a very funny way of making things happen, and we had a rainmaker machine for the whole movie, but it was Mother Nature making it rain. It was annoying at times because we were all slipping and falling all over the place. I don't know how many times. It looks cool now when you watch the movie, but it was not fun to film in because just imagine cold rain and just being drenched all day. Little to no shelter. And when you watch the movie, you can tell that it, of course, rained quite a bit, but you can't really get a justice of what it was like to be on set there. And I was just really blessed. Gregory Blair and Amber Fox and Patrick Allred and Tori Beckham and Savannah Schaefer and Ashley Nunez was just so calm and understanding and not screaming and shouting at the director, and the AD and everyone who was behind the scenes. Because I can't say that if it was anybody else that we filmed with, I can't say that it would have been like that. Because I've been on sets where there was frustrations and there was no bad weather. So the fact that they were so understanding and we all pitched in to make this film, it was such a passionate film. You can tell everybody really cared about the project. And I really hope to work with people like that more and more in the future because it was like the best experience I've ever had easily.
This film, has it actually surfaced to DVD, or has it been onto the streaming platforms and anything else yet, or was that still a journey to get out there even though this was filmed a couple years ago?
Beast of the Field was in those festivals that we actually premiered. We actually won Best Feature and Best Director for that film, and that was the E-Town Film Festival. And we were scheduled for 4 festivals here in the next month or two, but with the corona crisis, a lot of those festivals postponed or just canceled altogether. We're currently in limbo right now because we're a few film festivals that are going to be showing in anywhere from July to October. We're still waiting to get word from that. I'm leaning more towards releasing a film in the next month or two, which I did a Facebook Live video yesterday about that, releasing Beast of the Field early, just for the simple fact a majority of the festivals that Beast of the Field that was going to premiere canceled or postponed. It's frustrating because there's so much potential for that film, and given everything that happened with that film, there's just so many unfortunate events. We shot the movie in a hurricane, and that right there was a triumph in itself. And then post-production, the coronavirus, it was just like this film has just endured so much. But I know when it is released, it's going to be a really big hit because a lot of people have really been keeping up with it, and especially Amber, Don Fox, and Gregory Blair's fan base. A lot of people are really waiting a chance to get to see it. This was the first film that I actually successfully had a festival run, so it was very exciting, and unfortunately my ring has been cut short for measures way beyond my control. It's frustrating because I was hoping to see what all does the film do. The performance that was given with this film, I really seen that, Gregory Blair and Amber Don Fox winning, an award because they gave such great performances, and everyone did. But of course, they were leads in the film.
Do you think, like, releasing a film, it's lucky just to release the film at all. Do you think an artist, including yourself, are going to doubt or even question other mediums after this is all over with to get their vision out there?
Yeah, it's very risky. In filmmaking, Gregory Blair said this yesterday. You always have to have a plan A, B, and C, and D, because you can plan something all day long, but it doesn't mean that that's going to turn out to be the way it is. And I do have a plan B and a C and a D. And, you know, I knew it was a good chance when I, you know, submitted to the festivals. I knew it was a good chance that we might not have gotten into any festivals, too. So that was also something I had to consider, too. Distribution company that I went with, Payday, they're a really good distribution company, and I would love to work with them with future projects because they really teach you a lot as a filmmaker on how to market and strategize your film. But a lot of distribution companies don't do that. Like 98% filmmakers don't ever see their revenue back at all. And I'm very fortunate to say that's not the case with me. And, you know, I'm very, very fortunate for that.
Continue to have some kind of revenue and not solely rely on a specific project or projects. Even if it's got a huge hit, you can't rely on these because they're not long-lasting terms in terms of revenue. Sure, they can continue to generate some revenue, but it's never enough for your next project, for anything else that you might go aside from directing or producing and so forth and so forth. You have to have a better preparation. Otherwise, you're just always going to be in the same square one. You're basically going to be in a square circle over and over if you don't do anything else aside from that.
That is very true.
Do you think that it's going to be more focused about less on chance from these companies and more about rediscovery in terms of getting the types of visions? Do you think artists around the world are going to be almost rethinking and it's almost like a redesign on their own too?
Yeah, I really think if you're making a movie, I really think you need to also do as much research into your strategy of marketing and getting your film out there too, because a lot of times filmmakers, like, they just hand over their project to a distributor and expect them to make the miracle happen. You have to be out there promoting yourself and getting other people to believe in you. Everywhere I go, I promote what I'm doing and who I am and what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm sure people probably get tired of hearing it, but, you know, I don't believe in myself. Who will?
And then that comes with risks. And
you're not taking risks. You cannot succeed without taking risks. I mean, because if you watch everyone who is very successful, everyone has taken a risk. There was out there sleeping out of their cars. There was people literally doing all kinds of things that people thought that they were insane. You got to put yourself out there. Sometimes playing it safe does not get you where you want to be, because sometimes a lot of people end up quitting their dream, or whether it's movies or music or anything, and they're like, well, I'm just going to get you a job and work a 9 to 5 and play it safe throughout life. That's not living. You know, I'd much rather take my chances of being a successful filmmaker and failing rather than never trying and wondering, could I have ever done it? It's, you know, going to college and all that and getting a job that I might not even like. Just, to me, it doesn't make sense opposed to chasing my dreams of being a filmmaker.
Now, would you actually read, especially now, would you read the fine between risk and precaution?
In my opinion, risk is taking a chance. Of course, you always take precaution. Like anyone you work with or looking into distribution, you do your research, right? I mean, luckily now, you know, we live in a social media world where you can literally constantly research a distribution company. You can read online reviews of what people said about them. Check the red flags. You can actually ask around. You can actually talk to people who might have had an experience with them. Those are the precautions you can take. But as far as, you know, the risk, it's getting up and doing it and trying and succeed. One thing I can honestly say, don't be afraid to fail, because you're going to. You're going to fail, like, a lot. I fell a lot, and I used to think that it was just me. I used to think, God, I'm such a loser. Why is certain filmmakers, you know, like, not failing? And that's not true. Just because you see them on Facebook and they're smiling and looking, just some people don't share their failures publicly, but I do. I look at failure as one step closer to me succeeding, because in order for me to succeed, I have to fail. I have to know what it's like not to do this. There's mistakes that you have to learn in order to be successful. You have the power to determine who you're going to be and not let people validate who you are.
Now, would you actually look back after this film, Beasts of the Field, and other projects that you might have, would you actually look back on this as a business model in terms of working on your next projects, or would you actually take advantage of online, especially now, to push these projects out there for the audience to gain that reputation for better positive flow?
Well, yeah, I mean, because you have to really engage with, your audience and make them feel a part of the journey. In a lot of ways, I feel like I've done it, do that, but in a lot of ways, I feel like I can always improve on that. Sometimes I feel like, you're promoting a project, something that happened, for instance, with Overdue. Unfortunately, the bookstore location that I was going to be shooting at going out of business, and sometimes working on a project kind of to yourself until you're kind of, at a point where you're on set and you're shooting it, and then that way people don't know what the situations are, if you're failing or succeeding. I really like promoting a project so much more when you're done with it, because, you already know you shot it. You don't have to worry about delays and all of that. So I'm kind of like 50-50 on that. I feel like if people are really a fan of you, they will support you anyway. It's one thing I'm learning more and more.
Oh, by the way, I tell you, says hi.
Oh, hello.
Go ahead and plug in any websites or anything that you want to plug in, and also what you can check out right now.
I'm locked in that I'm scheduled to shoot in June, and I'm very excited about this project. It touches on human trafficking. It's really very emotional, like a great psychological thriller drama where these two women are locked in this, underground bunker warehouse. It's about survival and powerful journey. Like, I think like the best reference I can give you where it would be similar would be 10 Cloverfield Lane, when they were trapped down in this basement. But the differences between this movie, of course, is human trafficking, and 10 Cloverfield Lane was they were afraid if they go outside, they couldn't breathe the air. But the script is just solid. Paul McFall just wrote such a great script, and not only did he write such a great script, the characters you really care about, and it takes primarily place in one location, and it's such a compelling story that really drug me in immediately, because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do after Overdue being postponed. I read the script and loved it, and I was like, "Oh, I have to film this." It's such a great story.
And there you have it, everybody. That is director Chase Dudley.